Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to Wild Wiles Sports. It's
Yep, here we are.
been a hard couple of days for us.
It has. It has. You viewers might notice that we both have black shirts on. We are in a traditional mourning period because our beloved Lynx have ended their season. And this is tough. This is tough. After a record-breaking season in so many ways.
Mhm.
To have it come down to this and this amount of controversy is unfortunate. So anyway, we could talk a little bit about what happened in game three and then move into game four. Surely people have heard by now about what's going on, but let's catch people up.
Yeah, okay. So game three, the Lynx actually, what did they have? Like a 14-point lead at one point. Um, oh, 14-point lead at one point, ended up losing the lead. Really unfortunate. Last like 30 seconds or so, Alyssa Thomas goes for the ball on Naphessa Collier. I would share my opinion on whether or not it was a foul, but I'm gonna get attacked either way. So
Right. And I don't know, does the WNBA have the ability to fine citizens? Are they
yeah,
in cahoots with the IRS or something? Are we all going to go down if we make comments? But I'll just talk about the play. I do believe it was a foul, and that is not a love of the Lynx or I acknowledge fully that the tip was clean.
hmm,
But th that doesn't mean that you can just run straight into someone. Nafisha's leg was going one way and Alyssa Thomas's leg was going another. In layman's terms, Nafisha has what we could call the right of way. She gets to go the direction she was going. Alyssa Thomas is who took her out. I'm not saying that this was malicious in any way. This was a definite attempt at and almost a successful um, strip. She got it, but she ran straight into her,
yep,
and that led to um, some additional events.
yes, a season-ending injury for Naphessa Collier. We'll see how long that injury holds her back. And then also the ejection of the Lynx head coach, Cheryl Reeve. So she was a little upset about the no call. I think it wasn't just the no call,
Yeah.
it was the no calls throughout the entire game. Um, and
Throughout the last several years, this is a growing and ongoing problem that no one is acknowledging. And we've just learned today, and I don't want to, get into the Nafisha speech just yet, but the league commissioner does not acknowledge that there is a problem.
yeah, yeah, which is not good. So yeah, and
That's not good.
it
That's
gets
not
worse
good.
for the Lynx. So their coach was ejected, and I was expecting her to be fined. I was not expecting her to be suspended from game four, which, so no Nafisa Collier, no head coach, kind of did the Lynx in for a loss in game four, in my opinion.
I don't know if that was, I mean, they sure had a chance to win in game four because we've seen the Lynx rally without Naphessa Collier before. And I, for one, thought that maybe the ejection of the coach, the players really like Cheryl. I thought that might serve as motivation. And the associate head coach, T-Balt, uh, he's right in there with Cheryl all the time. Cheryl's hiding out in an undisclosed location or the hotel, ridiculous. This is an elimination game. They fined her $15,000. That's the biggest fine in WNBA history. and is it's insulting. I don't agree with how she handled herself. But at the same time, you can see where your frustration would erupt if you keep watching the same thing happen over and over again. And, you had the championship, as Cheryl has said, stolen from them last year, and
100%.
now they're in a similar situation. It's that's a lot. That's a lot. But this is where we are.
Yeah.
Until this afternoon, we had yeah, go ahead.
So sometimes when players' season ends, they do little exit interviews things, just talk about how the season went with the press. And today, Naphessa Collier did hers, and she came with a prepared statement. And she kind of talked about what she believes the problem with the WNBA is. And I found it interesting. She said it wasn't just missed calls. It's just a lack of what you say, accountability at the high level. And so here are some quotes from what she said. She said, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in the league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs, which is not true. Um, and then Nafisa said, I asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes 16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And then her third and final statement was,
Wow.
and in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
Where do we start? Where do we start with that?
Well, let's start with the first one. Let's start with the officiating. So, this idea
Okay.
that only the losers complain about the refs is really not true. I've heard every single head coach complain about the refs. And what I find interesting was obviously Cheryl Reeve complained about the refs, but then Stephanie White and Becky Hammon, head coaches of Indiana and Las Vegas, came out and said Cheryl didn't lie. Cheryl didn't say anything wrong. And those teams aren't even in this series.
Valid points,
And they both got fined for that.
right? Yeah.
People aren't complaining of
It's
like,
and Nafisha referenced that.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, like, people aren't really just
No.
complaining of like my team isn't getting the calls. They're complaining that these calls are not consistent.
Right. And that the level of play has reached a point where it is dangerous.
Hmm.
There's no freedom of movement. Becky Hammond was talking about it in the NFL. You only have a few yards where you get to mess around with a wide receiver. With a WNBA player, the full court, go ahead, push, shove, two hands. So I'm not sure how when you're trying to run like a five-out defense and everybody has to move and cut and set screens, it must be really frustrating to know that you're gonna have such physical uh, that I mean you run the risk of injury all the time. And I know that everybody runs the risk of injury all the time, but there's something about the way this league has allowed the off the ball and on the ball defense to become much more football-like than basketball-like. A lot of this stuff you couldn't do this stuff in the NBA.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. The second
It's
point.
frustrating.
Caitlin should be grateful that she makes 16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything.
I wonder what Caitlin is thinking right now to hear that that's what Kathy said. And I wonder if this is the first time she's heard it, or wow. can we flip this around? Wouldn't Kathy be the one that should be on her knees thanking Caitlin
Mhm.
for the massive exposure and that the WNBA has received, the millions of new fans? And wouldn't you think that had something to do with why you were able to sign a 10-year or 11-year media deal that's going to make the league $11 billion in revenue? Hey, that sounds like maybe you've got this turned around. And it also sounds like you're going to have a few more dollars in your pocket there. So why aren't we paying the players? The arrogance, the arrogance.
Yeah, 100%. And I just disagree that this idea that Caitlin couldn't make money without the WNBA. She was making a lot of money with NIL in college. If she didn't have the WNBA to go to, she would have stayed for a fifth year and made a couple $1 million. And then now she could have had the opportunity. She could have just went and played on Unrivaled and made millions of dollars. Caitlin does not need the WNBA like the WNBA needs Caitlin. And the
Right.
same with Angel and Paige and all of these stars, especially
Yeah.
with how much money they can make in college and with this new blossoming league of Unrivaled. They don't need the WNBA. They want to be in the WNBA.
Yeah. It's gross. What? Bleh,
Yes.
bleh.
And yeah, the last statement of players should be thanking me for this media rights deal. Kathy, what are you talking about? They hate you. I'm sorry.
Yes, and what people aren't tuning into this league to watch you, Kathy. They're
Hmm.
tuning in to watch the players. The players are the product. Players are the product that you're able to sell, and it's why you have a job.
Yes.
It's
Maybe
why
she
people
shouldn't.
come to the buildings. Mhm.
Maybe Kathy should
Maybe
get
she
a job.
shouldn't. Heck, no, no, I not doing this.
Yeah, I also saw something interesting that Nafisa said was that maybe if she didn't know what it took to run a league, she would have a different opinion, but she does. And so that's kind of why she's holding up to this standard and not letting this stuff go. And I just think this proves that the start of Unrivaled is such a game changer. It's bigger than we thought it was going to be, and it's having such a huge impact on these conversations.
For sure. For sure. And I'm really impressed with Fee for taking this stand. And, she can't get the MVP out of them because clearly they don't, that was never going to happen this year. Um, I know I've read some of the pushback on the TikTok. Some of you folks don't agree with me, but I do not care because the facts are if you've got that 40, 50, 90 season and you have been on a record-setting team all year long, and you haven't ever had your team lose by 53 points, and your team didn't go into a massive losing streak for weeks and weeks. I just don't feel like there was much question here. So those of you that have a different opinion than that, that's fine. But you are wrong.
I agree 100%. Okay, so speaking of Asia Wilson and the Aces are still in the playoffs as well as Indiana and
Game
Phoenix.
five.
Yeah, okay, so that is tonight. Game five, elimination game, Indiana and Las Vegas. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I don't know what to think because I never would have predicted this.
No.
I feel like it could go either way. I also feel really lucky because, of course, I'm a Lynx fan, but I like the Fever. I like the Aces. So whoever is gonna win is, I just want them to be ready to take it straight to the Mercury. Just
Hmm.
go take it straight to the Mercury and beat them. That's all I care about at this point. So it can really, to me, be either team. And boy, the Fever just keep finding a way to get it done. And that way is Kelsey Mitchell and
Yep.
Aaliyah Boston and then whoever else steps up that night, whether it's Natasha Howard or Odyssey Sims. What an amazing story that this team has had this year with so many injuries and people that have just been basically, hey, come play. We need somebody, we
Mhm.
need bodies. And to have them gel like this and get to this point, it's pretty incredible. And on the other hand, then you've got the aces who have the experience. They've been in this situation before. They have the MVP. I love Asia. I want to make that clear. I do think she's one of the best players in the world. This year, I don't think she was the MVP. But I'll let that go. Um, but we Jackie Young and uh the core group of the aces have really seemed up and down this year. It just kind of it depends on, if the shots are falling or if they, even defensively sometimes they've looked a little uh like they have some miscues. So if they have a night like that and the Fever continue to uh do the Fever things, we might be seeing Fever Mercury. And then you better believe I'm getting all the Fever gear out.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, something I think was super funny was in game four in Indiana. Kelsey Mitchell obviously played amazing, as she always does, and she's shooting these free throws at the end of the game, and everyone starts chanting MVP, which is so funny with the regular season MVP in the house. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, I feel like Kelsey Mitchell's
She
had,
had a legitimate she
yeah, I think she was obviously a finalist. I think she's um, easily top three in the league this year. And then, well, another thing I thought was interesting, kind of going back to officiating, was when Asia Wilson was kind of complaining a little bit about the foul discrepancy, especially what Aaliyah Boston had to say about Asia having a special whistle. Here's what I'll say. Here are my thoughts. Yeah, there was a pretty big foul discrepancy in game four. That's not in line with what we've seen for the rest of the series. So, yeah, fouls were probably unfair. But to say that Asia Wilson doesn't have a special whistle is insane.
right.
She has
Yeah.
the most free throws
Yeah.
attempted out of anyone else in the league. Like it's sure she goes to the rim, like a lot of them are probably legitimate, but she has a special whistle. I'm sorry. But she just does.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And Aaliyah is is holding her own against her. I
Yeah.
love how she's not intimidated and she lacks some size or and experience, but it's a great matchup and she's doing a fabulous job.
hmm Yeah. So moral of the story is whoever wins game five tonight has our full support for the 7 game series.
For sure.
I
For
still have
sure.
some Aces gear. I have
Yeah.
a jersey. I still have an Aces jersey from last season because I had a Cape Martin. So I'll whip that out
Hmm.
if I need to.
Right? I got an Aces t-shirt. I have an Aces hat. And yeah, and then I have Fever gear too. But out of respect for the amazing season that the Lynx had, they're having like a big gathering for all their
Yeah, I
fans
saw that.
tonight.
Yeah, I did see that.
We should be there.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully, maybe next year
Well, what are you
we
gonna
can go
do?
for a victory
This is
parade. Yeah.
sports.
Hmm. Next
Well,
season.
what is gonna happen next season? I am concerned with 80% of the league being in free agency.
Yeah.
21 of the 24 All-Star this year are free agents. The only
Dang.
ones that are still tied to those rookie contracts, yeah, would be Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and who was the other one that, um,
Paige.
well, I can't think of it.
Paige and Leah.
Paige, yeah, still in rookie contracts. Otherwise, hmm?
Angel reached 200.
So yeah, what's gonna who?
Probably Angel, right?
What?
Angel.
That's what I said. Yeah, Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about that with all these free agents and with no sign of a contract, and then whatever Naphesha just did today, is maybe that was a master move. Maybe that's going to force the hand. But the league announcing this beautiful uh, $11 billion media contract without a player contract in place really, to me, showed where their priorities are. Rather than taking care of the players and ensuring that the players know how valued they are, because you can't sell this league to networks unless people, and it's not about one or two people, it's about the league and all of the players. Everyone is a part of this. For them to brag about the media deal and then, but at the same time, there is no movement on a player contract, to me speaks volumes about the priorities.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should all be a
It's
little,
just like the players are the help.
yeah.
They're the hired hands. We're not paying any, and that's that.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I think we
It's
should
very
all be
disheartening.
a little worried about the potential of a delayed season next year.
Hmm. I would not be surprised. Think of the things we haven't heard. Do we know where the All-Star game is?
No.
Now, don't we generally have that like pretty quickly after? Okay. We have all these new teams coming on next year we got the Fire. And then, the following year we got the other expansion teams. Um, where, when are we going to talk about those specifics?
Not sure. I'm getting a little nervous. I think we all should be. But right now,
Yeah.
we're just focusing on who's going to be the 2025 WNBA champion. That's all we can do.
Hmm.
So tune in tonight. Um, hopefully for a Fever win. We will see.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have a real interesting series. I'm sure you and I will have to talk about it in more podcast episodes.
And maybe our hearts will be more healed and we can have more enthusiasm for whoever is going to beat the Mercury.
Yeah.
Let's give credit on the Mercury though, before we wrap this up. They don't have a returning team. I mean, the only people that have been there, Kalia Copper
Mhm.
and uh Mac. Everybody else is new.
Yeah, that's
And for them to put this kind of run together is very impressive. And so I'm not, credit to the players, credit to the coaching staff. Um, and I need Alyssa Thomas to control her body.
okay.
I need them to call fouls when she drops her shoulder and goes.
Yes.
It is a given within this league that she can drop her shoulder and go, and everybody just says, "Well, that's AT, that's her pure strength." No, that's bullying. That's she is running through people, and of course she continues to do it because she's rewarded for it every time. But people who have to guard her or try to stop her are in danger every single time.
Yeah. It's like I
And
see it like
I'm tired of seeing that.
you're a defender, you see Alyssa Thomas coming towards you. Your options are let her score or
Hmm.
have your ribs broken and then subsequently get a foul call on you. Those are your options.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I'm not saying every single time she drives, but it is a significant number of times that when she drops that shoulder and goes, she has uh she has 0% chance of being called for a foul.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So I'm
tune
tired of
in.
that.
I'm tired of it too. But tune in. Game tonight, game
But
five.
I'm not going to tell her because
No, 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 no.
I don't want to tell her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tune
All
in,
right.
game five, and then tune into the series best of seven. Coming your way soon.
You bet.
All right.
All
We'll see you
right.
next time on
See ya.
Wild Wiles Sports.